Okay, so we all know by now that Jude Bellingham, Samuel Ritchie, Camavinga are some of the best centre midfield wonderkids in Football Manager 2022. But what about the players that you might not have heard of? Those hidden gem centre midfielders. Today we got the top 10. Paulo Bernardo. He'll cost you about £15 million at the start of the game. And you can see here in 2031, he is a world-class midfielder. He's playing for Arsenal here, and he's got the mentality, the physicality, and of course, the technical prowess to absolutely boss it in the centre of the park. When we look into a little bit more detail in his history, we can see that he scores goals as well as gets assists. He's got a 7.39 average rating over the years, and my scout tells me he is driven in pursuit of his goals, and he is crucially a fairly consistent performer. Next up, Pedro Vite or Vite, not sure how to pronounce it. Only a couple of £1 million he'll cost you at the start of the game, and you can see here in 10 years time he does develop into a really decent player. Passing technique, corners, which is really handy, right? It's always good to have at least one player in your team who's good at corners. Composure, vision, natural fitness and stamina as well as agility make this guy a go-to if you're looking for an Ecuadorian centre midfielder. In terms of history here, we can see he's playing for RB Leipzig, has played for Bayern Munich as well, gets goals, gets assists, has a 7.12 average rating over the years, and my scout tells me that he's got a balanced to normal personality, is a fairly consistent performer and could adapt well to living in another country. What is concerning though slightly is that he does not enjoy big matches. You can see that down the bottom here. Maximo Perrone next. £5 million at the start of the game, around about there. And look how amazingly this guy has developed, right? He's 28 years old here in 2031. He's an Argentinian elite midfielder according to the media. In the greens, he's got agility, balance, decisions, anticipation, passing, and technique. He's an absolute monster. History-wise, we can see he moves to Liverpool for £8 million in 2022 and is straight into the first team. Doesn't get too many goals and assists, but his average rating is 7.04, which is very good. He enjoys big matches and is a fairly consistent performer. Two of the key scout reports that I look for, if you want to know a little bit more about that, I'll link a video in the description. But Perrone, honestly, get your hands on this guy. £5 million, he's an absolute steal. Charlie Patino is next. He's an English guy, so you will have to pay a slight bit of English tax at the start of the game, between 10 and 20 million. He's a midfielder. He comes deep to get the ball and plays 1-2s, dictates the tempo. He's determined, has great teamwork and vision, as well as anticipation, right? Look at that mental side of things for Charlie Patino. That is where it's at. Agility as well means he can kind of probably play on the wings. Passing, technique, first touch and dribbling make this guy an all-rounder in my eyes. In terms of his history, doesn't get too many goals and assists, plays for Arsenal, Inter Milan, on loan at Barnsley in 2021, 7.06, which is a popular number today in terms of average ratings, and although he doesn't feel comfortable playing in big matches, which is a concern and is inconsistent when presented with chances, he does maintain a fairly consistent performance on the whole, according to the scouts. Can play in a couple of positions, although that isn't reflected in his position graph. But as we noted earlier, those attributes, he could play anywhere on the pitch really. Kacper Kozlowski next here in 2031 is a 28-year-old Polish player who is cultured in the attacking midfield position, right? He's a centre midfielder. He can play attacking centre midfield. He can play defensive centre midfield just about as well. And what I really like about this guy is his mentals, right? In terms of greens and 15s, he's got anticipation, bravery, composure, determination, off the ball and vision, right? And if you add 14s and 13s to that, you've got concentration decisions, teamwork, work rate, as well as all the physicals. He gets the odd goal and assist, but he has got an average rating of 7.05. 7.05 and 7.06 seem to be coming up a lot today. He's a spirited individual, a fairly consistent performer, has a good understanding of the English language, which could be helpful. His underlying stats are really good, to be fair. He's an A+ signing here in 2031, and I recommend him highly. Qualy Santos next. I'm never sure how to pronounce that first name. I should look it up, really. About £2.5 million at the start of the game, so really good value for what he turns out, or for what he could turn out as, right? And don't forget, different players can develop differently in different saves, etc. Yada. But look at this, like dribbling, first touch. Let's move my cursor there. Dribbling, first touch, passing, technique, vision, anticipate. Mate, he's absolutely amazing. Agility, balance, pace, a cultured midfielder, professional, another player who I would say could play anywhere on the pitch, really. And that's reflected slightly in his position graph there. History-wise, 7.41 average ratings, and bangs in the goals. Look at that, 10 goals, 14 goals, 13 goals, and 11 goals, as well as double-digit assists as well. 7.41 average rating. This guy is very, very good. A fairly consistent performer, enjoys big matches. Oh my god, he's insane. I'm going to have to tweet this guy out, I think. At FMWKDS on Twitter, go give me a follow. So yeah, insane goal record, insane scout report, really good attributes and flexibility. What a great player, and for less than like 5 million quid. Go and get him in. Amadou Nana next, under 10 million quid at the start of the game. Can play anywhere along the spine of the pitch. He's an experienced midfielder, likes to play killer balls, and he has got some killer balls as well. Passing 15, vision 16, technique 16. Definitely on more of the defensive side, and he might actually cross over into the defensive video, which will be out next, I assume. But just because my scout says he's the best at centre midfield rather than defensive centre midfield, that's why he is in this video. History-wise, 7.06 average rating again. Wow. Pop in the comments, guys, if you noticed all this 7.06 stuff, just to let me know that you're watching, you actually watch these videos, right? He is fairly susceptible to injuries, according to my scout, which is a concern, but he relishes big matches and obviously possesses great pace as well. Cobra Lean next, a centre midfielder who likes to get forward whenever possible. He's good at technique and work rate, as well as first touch decisions, pace and acceleration, which is not something you normally find in a centre midfielder. What worries me is his such low determination here of 5. Maybe that attribute will be different in your save. Hopefully it will. In terms of history here, he's got 6.96. So maybe his determination has kind of let him down a little bit there. But in terms of reports, like, he doesn't like big matches, apparently. You can see here, lack of determination hinders him in certain situations. But look, he's a hugely consistent performer, which is very, very positive. Vitinha next will cost you about 20 million at the start of the game, so it's a pretty penny, probably not as hidden as maybe some of the other gems in the video. First touch, passing, technique, vision and composure though, with agility and balance as well. He's like the ideal centre midfielder, right? There's just nothing he can't do. History-wise, you can see 7.5, which is absolutely insane, right? Double-digit goals and assists, 11 goals here for Porto in 2026 with 15 assists, then 11 goals with 13 assists, so that's ridiculous consistency. 6 goals with 16 assists for Man United as well when he moved for 53 million. There is talk in real life as well of Vitinha going to Manchester United. Last but definitely not least, one of my favourite hidden gems from the whole series is Isaac Bergmann Johannesson, right? For some reason, I really love like the Icelandics and the Nordic players, right? First touch, dribbling, passing, vision, determination, composure, stamina. There's something about having an Icelandic Viking warrior in your centre midfield, which is really appealing, right? He gets into the opposition area here, plays 1-2s, dictates the tempo, and is a world-class midfielder. History-wise, you can see an average rating of 7.31. Doesn't get an awful lot of goals, but you can see here for Chelsea, he got 14 assists, followed by 11 assists in one season. They signed him for 19 million in 2024. You can pick him up for a lot less than that, less than 10 million probably at the start of the game. My scout tells me that, look, there's nothing really holding him back. He relishes big matches. He's fairly consistent. He can play in a couple of positions, which is something I really like about him, right? His positional ability. He's a no-brainer. Left-footed as well, which is handy. Get him into your teams, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This is the complete list here, so feel free to screenshot it, write it down or whatever. If you want to download it, that's available to the patrons. I'll put a link up here. Watch this video as well, because there's loads of hidden gems we've done lately. Thank you so much for watching again. Hit like, hit subscribe. See you again.